What's good with you DIYers? This video will be very different than anything you ever seen on this channel. This is called What's the Dirt on What's the Dirt, and that's indeed what you're going to get by the end of this video. Now, this channel from day one has always stood on integrity, independence, and truth. That's why my tag goes like this.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Well, I think part of standing on the truth means making sure that that applies to any and everyone that comes and cross your path. I think some people take my kindness for weakness. I think one of those people were Matthew, or What's the Dirt. I think he saw certain creators in this space and he just thought that it's all a game. I don't know why he thought that way, but he made a mistake in the midst of us having some back and forth where he tried to soft dox me and mention names of people that are deceased, that are adoptive grandparents, and once the family gets involved, it's all gloves off. Matthew, your past is coming back to haunt the dog shit out of you.
And that is that there's a huge difference in respecting a woman and respecting a bitch. Like, they're two different things. Like, if you act like a bitch, you're gonna get treated like a bitch.
And all you had to do was leave me alone. As a man, it is important that I stand on principle. You tried to link up with the OVO extremists. Sounds wild to say that. And you tried to run a bit of a smear campaign on me. You tried to make it out to me being a snitch when you yourself walked into a room full of people you don't know to tell them about some criminal activity that you did in an illegal weed business 5 years ago. I don't know why you said so much. You kept saying it. You kept going to live streams and just saying it. It seems like you snitched on yourself, and it seems like you have a bad habit of doing that, as people will see by the end of this video. Well, today, a lot of farmers, a lot of families are going to get their get back. They're going to get their lick back. After you said you ran a lick, they're going to get their lick back today. And we're going to talk to some folks that are very familiar with your doings in that community. And they're going to help us to understand the character of What's the Dirt, the character of Matthew, and how some of that may overlap into some of the nonsense that you're doing here. Now, before we get started on this interview, it's important for me to note it is two individuals that I am talking to, and they want to remain anonymous. They are not on the internet. They don't want to be famous like Matt, and they for sure don't want bots attacking them and doing all the nefarious things that they do online. Out of respect for that, I made sure that I pitched their vocals down, hid the identity of anybody involved, and some of the things that they're going to share with us tonight. Secondly, my lawyer told me that it was important for me to read the following. The following video is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The statements and opinions expressed in this video are based on publicly available information because, he posted these videos publicly on his other business or his past business. Personal commentary and alleged claims from sources who have directly provided information. While every effort has been made to ensure accuracy, all allegations should be considered unverified unless proven otherwise. This video does not intend to defame, harm, or misrepresent any individual or entity mentioned. The content presented should not be taken as fact, but as commentary protected under fair use and freedom of speech. Viewers are encouraged to conduct their own research and form their own opinions. If any party believes that incorrect information has been presented, they are welcome to provide clarification. With that said, let's get to it.
DIY.
The fact that he tries to say that, it's a snitch or it's a cutthroat business, not saying that it's an easy business, but our community, will blacklist people that try to scam people or steal from people. It's not like we just go around like the Wild West out here and just rob people. He's not hitting licks. He's taking from people who are hardworking farmers that are just trying to feed their children, trying to make it as like it's normalized. And that's not something that we do around here.
I mean, I know a lot of the farmers, being a pretty big farmer myself, and a lot of guys that I know, and even the smaller guys that I know, because they'll either ask me for, hey, what strain should I do? What should I do this? They are all family men. Like, they're all family men. They're all trying to provide or at least make an extra income. And this is not like this, like she just said, a Wild West thing. It's all crimes. This is just not that. We're all just trying to make a buck and be decent people. The way he went about everything was just wrong in my view and in everybody's view here.
The weirdest thing about this whole conversation, as it started to kind of break into a public conversation is that so many of its videos, so much of the quote unquote evidence were things that were posted publicly on his own Instagram.
100%.
Exactly.
And that's why we're trying to say is that anybody who's trying to say anything.
And he felt bad about it enough to be issuing all these doing the apology tour and going around saying, I didn't mean it, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. The thing is that somebody is giving you something on the front. What he was going around and convincing farmers or people that are struggling, because the market is saturated with a lot of people like us, and they have a hard time with having farmers like me that might be a little bit bigger, and we're putting a lot into the market. So what he would do is he would go there and be like, look, I'm going to give you this price. I can give you more. I can help you sell all your stuff. This, that. Can you just front it to me? So he pays nothing. He gets the product, and then he'll move it and then pay them afterwards. He never paid for anything.
Part of it too, that the reason why he was getting things on the front was because he was building the brand Cottontail. And with that, he was using the video skills, which you see him doing now with the YouTube, to make, a brand or to advertise certain strains and flowers. And so in the cannabis space here, that's at one point in time how a lot of people would make their business. And a lot of it would be through social media platforms. And people enjoyed the videos at first. People actually liked them. But what happened was that because he got a little bit into his head, he ran amok. And he started to do kind of what he did with people in your space. Right. He started to try to be like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm somebody. But because of the videos and because he was getting a little bit of traction and attention.
Yeah, he was literally saying, I'm the best to ever do it.
I'm the first one
to make videos. But when I had my people start doing my first videos and doing everything in promotional videos, that was 8 years before him. So what are you talking about? And even then, you're not paying and you're getting a product and you're convincing people to give you something. And then he said he was running a Ponzi scheme. He was paying some of the growers and doing this and doing that. Like, how is that even hitting a lick? In my world, hitting a lick, you're kicking somebody's fucking door down and you're like, run me that, Well, he's convincing people and then being a bad businessman. It's that simple.
Well, he tried to map it out as it was some kind of black market with shrooms, and he named a few other things. He deleted the tweet. That's why I couldn't find it. But he tried to make it seem like it was this black market situation where everybody there were criminal underlords or whatever you want to call it. And he tried to make it seem like, you know how it is, it was a cutthroat business.
Yeah.
But the more that I started to see the things that you shared with me in the Google Drive, the more that we had communication, the more that I started to see it's a much different picture than what he painted.
Right. Yeah. If it was such a cutthroat business, explain why with the fronted packs, with the money that he would make, he was making T-shirts and hats and hacky sacks with the brand name on it, with the logo. Is that such a cutthroat thing? I'm not sure what's his definition of cutthroat. That's really what we need to know, right? Like,
why would you advertise it if it's such a cutthroat business? Why would you? It's my same issue that I have when he was jumping in my live stream and he would jump in there and immediately, man, you want to talk about my business from 5 years ago? It's about my illegal weed business. You're saying out loud illegal weed business.
Nobody said anything. You did it yourself.
I didn't say anything. All I said was, what is this video that I have? And he just starts spilling it all. And I'm like, him and a bunch of his supporters, whatever you want to call it, bots, tried to call me a snitch in this situation.
That's why we were kind of all laughing.
I lost it when I heard that.
Because
that was so
in our
wild.
community, there's even pages and people dedicated to letting people know who not to purchase from, because who wants to get fucking scammed by somebody?
Yeah, they're called moms, mail order marijuana, and on Reddit. And then you can go there and tell them, oh yeah, look, this is how good this business is, how good this is. Oh yeah, this guy's honest, this guy's this guy's that, type of thing.
Can I ask you about the first time that you met him? And, just like when you meet anybody new, I assume that there's a reason why he was able to gain these people's trust, and so many people in the very beginning. I know you said he had a skill set that kind of separated him in his editing. What was it like the first time that you guys came in contact with What's the Dirt or Matthew?
It's a weird backstory to this one. Really, initially, his girlfriend joined the community, and she was garnering some attention and followers because she was posting her own stuff. People liked her. I don't know what possessed him, but he, I feel like, took her attention or potential success that she might have had and was like, I'm going to piggyback on this. And that's when the brand was created and she associated with it, and that's kind of how it started.
She's pretty decent looking, and what's happening was she was hitting up brokers, and she's like, hey, how about, like, I need free flower, free herb, and she started taking pictures of bud while she's laying in a bed, and she's in a thong, and then she was laying them on top of her ass.
His girlfriend?
Yeah, his girlfriend. And then she started doing that and making ads in her Instagram page, right? And
tagging growers
and being like, hey, if you give me free herb, I'm going to post this picture. There's still pictures out there, I'm sure. You can find them. And then that got kind of popular. And then
he made his own brand.
He got this weird, like, it almost felt like this weird jealousy thing where he was like, okay, well, look, I'm not, like, I need to now, we can make a business out of this, and the people kind of like you. And it was almost like he's always like, has this thing like trying to get as much attention as fucking possible. It's insane. So he was just like, okay, I need all this attention now. Like, let me leverage this to me now. You know.
Long story short, because of that, he ruined her reputation. Oh, yeah. Because of everything that's happened in the long run and how he was attacking people, because eventually the brand was getting attention, but because if anyone had any constructive criticism or anything to say, he would get mad at them and send voice notes freaking out and stuff like that. But now, the reason why we didn't like each other was because eventually his girlfriend decided she wanted to make a cannabis giveaway. And what that meant was that she was getting other growers in the community or anybody that wanted to donate to her giveaway, where she was going to give somebody like a winner the prizes that everybody had donated. What happened was a grower had donated some flower to it, and she basically told that grower that she opened the flower that was supposed to be for the winner and smoked it, and was asking for more because she wanted to take photographs and video to showcase it. So he told me about it, and I basically made a post questioning, hey, like, did you take something that wasn't supposed to be for yours, supposed to be for a winner? And it triggered a hatred, and that's basically how it started. And then from there, Matt had an issue with me, and it just snowballed, and that's pretty much what happened. So as we look through some of the slides and photos, you will see throughout that there was a lot of, like, attacking of that. But basically, that's why. As for other people, it was more so just if they had any questions or criticism towards him, he would get upset. The parallel towards it is that really from the beginning, they were being dishonest. And that's really the parallel.
There are so many parallels I'm already seeing. So you're talking about him being in this industry, and the first sign of success, he already wants to poke his chest out as being one of the best.
Yeah.
Oh, it was heavy.
Immediately.
Him having the success in YouTube just for the period of time he did, especially during the battle, he was not only poking his chest out for his own channel, but he was going to, seasoned journalists like my friend Justin from the company, man. And Justin single-handedly created the very category that he put content under and became successful. He created the whole genre. And so for you to insult him, to me, just shows, one, a level of cognitive dissonance, and it also just shows me a level of arrogance and maybe even narcissism.
I was going to say it's very narcissistic. Same type of thing was going on here, where with the videos, he was like, there's a lot of, those pictures where you'll see a lot of people were actually upset because he came into the space and just started to be like, oh, I'm number one. And not only did he say he was number one, he would go on rants about how everybody copied him. Everybody was following and copying him.
When the irony of it is, even in this space, he has been accused from other content creators of stealing their content from Reddit pages, from smaller channels, and then putting that into his breakdowns that he does such thorough research on. He's been accused of doing the very same things in this space, and he just has a thing for black content creators that he loves taking from there and then figuring nobody ever is going to know. Does any of this sound familiar to you?
One thing I thought of while you were saying that is there was a grower, which I think there's a photo in there. He was really popular in our space, and there was a strain that was going around that everybody really enjoyed and liked. And he decided that he was going to try to piggyback off of that. And he got he had the same strain by a different person and was like, this strain is better and cheaper than this one, and than the guy that was getting all the hype at the time. And he was just trying to like undermine this person and be like, me instead, me instead. And it really caused a lot of problems for him because a lot of people got mad about that and they didn't enjoy that he would do that. Make your own, lane and make your own success in your own lane, But he's done stuff like that, as you can see through all these files.
Can I ask you this? Since it is something that has a gray area, was he putting other growers at risk by being this public and this, this boisterous about his business?
Well, if they pulled up on him, if they really did, then he has their number, right? So that's dangerous. So really, we don't want you to show your face. The biggest middlemen or big companies that we know, like the biggest, none of them show their face or know who they are. So it was one of the first I've seen.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Because they could just pull up, grab you, and then all of a sudden they have.
Yeah, but he lives in a town of 8,000 people. I'm sorry to say, but like to get to him, who's really going to go out of their way? Like, it's not a place that's easy to just get to.
When you met him, did you know him as a hip hop head? Was that something that even came up in the context of the conversations?
When he'd do his videos, he would use hip hop music in the videos. Yeah,
this guy just wants attention, though. Have you even told him about the fucking taxi thing in his town?
Okay, let's get into some of the.
It blows my mind that you have so much more, and this is just a very shortened conversation because I want to respect your time, but it's just the character is what I'm after in this conversation. Yeah. I'm not trying to incriminate. I'm not trying to get nobody locked up. Like I said earlier, I want you outside, Matt, because you got to understand, this is almost like an online intervention. You got to understand your actions have affected a lot of people, and now they're affecting people in an entirely different space. So 2 questions. The first one I want to ask you is, at what point did things go to hell with him? And is it true that he eventually got kind of ran out of this whole industry? And how, like, what, take me to that part of the story.
For example, like some of the stuff you'll see is like, hey, I bought this and I thought it was this, and is it this? Meaning like a strain. And he would lash out at that person for dare asking him a question about meds that's medicine to them, that they want a question, like they're trying to ask a question. And the person wasn't being rude or anything. They're just, they're trying to ask you something, and he just wasn't able to take any sort of criticism of any sort.
Well, it sounds like how he reacted to the guy that I mentioned earlier, Justin. Justin gave him some very sober criticism about his Family Matters breakdown on the Drake song. And when he did that, he started lashing out, and he called him. He said, he just said things that were just really weird. For instance, Justin made a comment about when he grew up in his black household, he didn't say the N-word. And he stops the video and says, we know. And I'm like, who the hell is we when it's just your ass in that room by yourself? And 2, he makes these statements that are like, he calls the guy, he says because he talks intelligently, he calls him, he says, this guy's not, he's basically implying that he's not real black, he's Carlton black. And he's making statements as if, why do you feel like you have so much comfortability in this culture to make inside jokes on it like that?
The downfall was that it's like when you go on fucking Yelp and you see a review on a restaurant, and then you see the owner saying, oh, well, you obviously don't know what you're talking about. This food is amazing. This dude, every single time somebody said anything about any strain or some product that he was moving and said something bad, he'd go back and be like, well, you're nuts, you're stupid, instead of being like, oh, like in my world, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna ship you another 14s of something. I'm gonna give you a little extra. In his world, it was like, okay, just diminish them, put them down, and tell them that they don't know
that
what they're talking
wrong,
about.
and yeah. And then also on top of it, after he started to get, you know, a lot of people fronting him stuff,
Exactly.
and he was purchasing stuff for his own brand, and that stuff costs money, you know, it's not free. And you're not paying back, you're not paying back what's owed to farmers, but you're doing, you know,
so
this type of stuff.
slowly people started saying after a while, not getting paid.
It was a process.
Being, hey, he didn't pay me. And then the other guy was like, oh shit, he didn't pay me. And then they all started talking within themselves, being like, oh, he owes like 6 of us. And then he had to come out and do the apology tour, being like, look, I didn't mean to like take from you, and in that nature, you know.
Do you have a video that shows any of the apology? Because he's made apologies in our
Yeah, there's a bunch. One of them would be called like Apology Tour 1, 2, and then there's a bunch of him even getting mad at clients of his.
You know, man, I've been seeing what you guys are doing for the community. What you did for that was fucking super dope, man. Very thoughtful. Took a lot of effort on your part to go out of your way to do that for him. I got mad respect for a lot of people do. He's an OG, and he's put us on in many ways. You know what I mean? We look up to him. He's a dope guy. And yeah, I've been just seeing, you know, what you guys been doing with your brand, and, you know, elevating the culture and doing what you do. And it's, you know, it's admirable. It's respectable. I gotta apologize to you guys, man, for how I conducted myself over the videos and shit. It was uncalled for. It was very fucking childish. You know, it's not really my style. You know, I just wanted to apologize, man. Mad respect.
Well, hold on just a second. So this is his apology after everything went to hell in this environment for him.
Yo, Curtis, I didn't get a chance to hit you up after all this shit went down, you know what I mean? But you know, you could have really kicked my back in on your stream. I was kind of expecting it, to be real with you, but you really approached it in a really, like, I appreciate the way that you know, the way you approached it. And I want to be like the Mike guy you're talking about, you know what I mean? That's kind of what I've really wanted to hang my hat on when it came to the culture, and then being embraced by the people of the culture was always like a huge thing for me, right? Like, I'm that white guy.
No.
Having fucked that up is like gut-wrenching.
So I play that to show you there's a big similarity in the way that his voice all of a sudden gets real somber. It's an act. It's an act to me. And one thing that I thought that it was really interesting, and I'll be my second question in this, he keeps bringing up the word culture. He did the same thing in your business.
100%.
I love this.
His slogan ended up being,
he tried to trademark it.
Wait, before I forget, you know in that little video that you just said with the apology, he said, oh, I like, he's put so many, he's all around, he's a big dude. Like, I know, well, we talk, you know, I know the guy very fucking well. And the thing is, he ends up, after that, you know, giving all these flowers to what he did, this, that. He ends up talking to, ends up giving him his best friend a grower's number, and he stole $17,000 from him. There you go.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Yeah, it's true. That's a fact.
If you were to estimate, because I've seen numbers, matter of fact, when you guys reached out to me, and I started to bring some of this information to the forefront, and he began scattering all over social media, I started getting random farmers, I believe, that were hitting me up, maybe even some friends of farmers, and they're like, man, what you're doing is such, there are people who have been waiting for a moment like this because he's been able to sliver out of these situations. First question I have, about how much money would you estimate that he owes these farmers?
From what I know from a couple of my buddies, like, and there's a couple other people that I'm not really big with, but I'm gonna put it, and from what I know for a fact, is almost like a 36K. So I'm gonna say like in the 40s probably, or something like that.
I had somebody tell me that it was about 40, and that he did make an effort to pay, I think, about $5,000 back.
For one person.
Well, one of my boys that's a good friend, when we talked and he's running my gens, well, actually, he ends up buying my, that dude. But anyway, I mean, the flower. But he was like at another 15 with just that fucking guy. You know what I mean? So, like, he's all over the fucking place.
Okay, so you pretty much confirmed that he was a culture vulture in 2 different industries, right?
Some of them you're going to laugh at, but a lot of the memes that we would make in our community would be because he would just not stop saying, we are the culture, we are the culture. And it was so bad that if another brand even used the word culture, he was attacking them. And it got so bad that he was saying that he was going to trademark "we are the culture," the phrase.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fact.
And so everybody always would laugh at this as like kind of a joke because there's memes of him, which is we would call him a culture vulture. And when I found out that he was on YouTube and I saw people calling him culture vulture, I got the biggest laugh because it translated over to another place when nobody said anything.
History repeated itself.
You need to remember that he started saying this after he was like 2 months into our business. And I was already 12 years deep.
He was only 2 months talking like this into the business? 2 months? Okay, so yeah, this is hilarious. Okay, let me pull up some more while I'm here. So these are some of that community has some memes that popped up. Oh no, when you won't stop posting your face location and daily life on your trap IG page and it gets you popped. Oh my gosh. CTE wondering where all the customers went. Oh, so you guys were just having a field day. This was just something where it was like about time. Market is lowest.
He wasn't even doing YouTube at this time.
No.
This is us just trolling him.
Yeah, we were trolling. Yeah,
this is like, wow. Like we were doing this before you guys were doing this. This is what happens to this fucking dude. This is who this fucking dude is.
So it's like PTSD for him. He's right back in it again.
Oh.
Look, he said when a mail order marijuana broker shows his face on his illegal Instagram page crying about some other broker.
He was fighting with some guy. Bro, he would pick fights with everybody, anybody. He'd go on Hinge, he'd crash. It was like this norm, bro. It just is fucking.
So it makes sense now, because my question was, why are you coming into my live streams and continuously letting people know you did something illegal 5 years ago? He's going on a tour and telling people in the comments, on Twitter, on Instagram, wherever he can go, he's like, he's just talking about my illegal weed business. Why do you keep saying illegal? Stop it. I don't know if you know, but he attempted to soft dox me on Twitter. The moment he saw one of these videos get on my Twitter account, and by the way, we've already confirmed these are videos that he posted himself, just literally talking to the camera for hours and hours. It just seemed like he has so many videos of him just talking. And being the nature of the business, that is a liability to be talking, but nonetheless, his next move was then to look up my name, like a background check, and then he listed a few names. He listed a name, Burton, and my last name and another name. He alluded to those names. He's like, why don't you have the same last name as these names? Are you a black sheep? Why do they have degrees and you don't? Are you a black sheep? He didn't understand is that one of those names that he mentioned, Burtons, are actually my grandparents who died. They both died of cancer. And they're adoptive grandparents or adoptive parents of my mom. So for you to talk so loudly and confidently about something that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about reminds me a lot of this stuff that you're showing me. I see you have some that are named doxing. Does he have a history of doing that in the community as well?
Yeah, he at one point, I mean, you can see with that photo, that was somebody that he was good with, like the same person that I was just talking about. At one point, they were both, advertising each other's brands, I guess, and then there was an issue between them, and basically this is what he did. Most of the people, are anonymous. Like people don't show their face. So that was one example where he found the person that was the account, and he showed his face on his page.
So just another thing about his character. He's posting this on his actual business page,
Yeah.
and he has a history of threatening to dox people and then actually doing it.
Yeah, it seems like he's doing it more in your community than ours, because I'm not sure if it's just comfortability or what.
Well, the thing is, he's dealing with farmers, and some of us farmers
Yeah.
are not like
It's-
the nicest folks. Like he was getting some pretty bad threats at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Can I ask you, is this considered snitching? This post that I have up here, I'll make it bigger. The one where it says the person that has been reporting my accounts formerly goes by the name of, he then changed his name to.
Yeah.
that's
It's weird. It's funny because he doesn't like people when people talk like, don't throw stones at glass houses type of shit, right? Because that's what it sounds like.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Matt, you fucked up, bro. You fucked up, bro. What he doesn't understand, because he's so culturally tone deaf, is that snitching or ratting, as when you're talking about the mob era, we all knew that to be, you are involved in some work or some criminal work or whatever you want to call it. You're involved in something illegal, and to get a lighter sentence or to get yourself off, you then tell on other people and say what they did, but not taking any accountability for what you did because you were just in there involved in it. So here you see him, he has a habit of when his ego gets shot, we're talking about character here, when his ego gets shot, the first thing you do is try to find somebody's vulnerability and attack and attack and attack. One of those being their identity. Wow.
He admits in his own words that what he stole and what he was doing, he couldn't keep up with what he was doing, and he admits that what he did was essentially a Ponzi scheme. That's his own words. That's him out of his own mouth.
He did this from his what's the dirt account? This is him. He says, what happens with Cottontails sits horribly with me. It was a great up-and-coming business, but I destroyed it with my ego, as well as all of the people that are owed. So he's admitting this from his own account. The person that hit him up said, well, that and you were running a Ponzi scheme. I did your numbers at one point from the info I was given. He said, yeah, I was running a Ponzi scheme. You fucking idiot.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna
You
tell it.
idiot. You weren't profiting. You were robbing Peter to pay Paul. I would say after I get this pack, I can pay the other guy. And it just spiraled out of control.
you can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up.
Yeah, it wouldn't have ended because you were spending frivolously on marketing gimmicks.
Such as hats and hacky sacks. Issue 3.movie is him getting mad, yelling at somebody.
How am I not telling the truth? I got 33 splitter from Cleaner Meds. Everyone else who gets 33 splitter from Cleaner Meds calls it 33 splitter. It's been on the menu and on the Canadian cannabis market for the last year and a half as 33 splitter. It's a fucking fire banger ass weed. I don't know what else to tell you, dude. I'll ask him what the lineage is. Like, I don't fucking know. All I know is I got 33 splitter from Cleaner Meds. And it's fire. It's more fire than 90% of what you smoke. The reason why I'm mad is because you just insinuated that I was lying to my customers, and I don't appreciate that because we treat everybody with fucking respect. Everybody. But when people get on like this and get all arrogant and condescending, I don't have any time for it. I've treated you with nothing but respect. I told you what I think it is, and now you're telling me you're no longer going to give me your business? Like, fuck that, dude. Of course that pisses me off.
He's a very angry little man. So Drake Stan is what this one is called. Give me context on this one. What am I about to watch with this?
This is after, like, the community dragged the shit out of him and pretty much kicked him out of the communities, because he was causing chaos and drama with everybody around him and just causing internet fighting, you know? Same type of thing he's doing. And he decided to take it amongst himself to make his own video, and in the beginning of it, he's just reciting Drake lyrics, and it's supposed to be about the community because everybody is his enemy, basically.
Oh.
Got a lot of people trying to drain me of this energy. I got enemies. Like, a lot of them, apparently. It's just one.
That was cringe.
That's the corniest shit I've ever heard.
He goes on a rant, like, he was upset basically that the community was done with him, and this was his retaliation video.
this energy. I got enemies. Like, a lot of them apparently. It's just one big circle jerk as far as I'm concerned. But I wasn't even gonna fucking speak on this shit, man. Like, I was gonna leave this alone and let the internet meme kids do their thing. Like,
you know what's interesting about this? He said the same thing about his first major issue in this space with the company man, and that he did a reaction video that he ended up deleting because he said it was him when he was having an episode, but he was sitting here in the video and for 12 minutes he's just filing off. He's smoking his hookah, whatever he's smoking, whatever he's drinking his Happy Dad, whatever he had there, and he's getting angry. And he said something in that video that's really telling, that sounds like this. He wasn't going to address it as if he's above the situation. He said, you know, I wasn't going to do this video on my YouTube because, you know, that'd be too much of a good look for the other guy. The other guy is a accredited, legendary hip-hop journalist. He doesn't need your good look. He's like, yeah, I didn't want to put him on a YouTube because, you know, that just be giving him way too much love. Like,
yeah, I'll give him views. You know how I am. I'm the GOAT. Like, I'll give him views. Like, fuck y'all, bro.
For clarity, this is him, and he's already now out of the community, and he's making his transition into YouTube, right?
Exactly.
Okay, and this is what he had to say.
Now there's people DMing me, asking me if I'm coming back. Like, are you coming back? No. There's a fucking 0% chance of me ever returning to the weed business.
The fact that he says the weed business out loud like this on this.
Bro, I can't even believe that I'm seeing a face and a name on top.
What are you doing? Like, he wanted us to believe that he was Scarface in this whole situation. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, you
know what? I think it's more so him trying to hide, like have a shield. I think because he's been caught, I don't think he likes it. And I think he knows kind of how hip hop culture is. And he's trying to use that as a shield. Oh, well, this is snitching. Oh, rats. Oh, this. But he knows how our community is.
You and I are seeing eye to eye on this because I just said that the other day. I said, I think there's certain people that come to hip hop who use certain terminology and basically bastardize it to justify narcissistic behavior.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I'm looking at what he's doing here. So this is him talking to, I guess, the folks who are still around. But it's funny how he talks about, yeah, I'm never coming back. I wouldn't come back neither if I owe people all that damn money.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
We just got glad to get rid of this pest. So.
Well, you're helping us. You're helping us. And thank you for coming to this barbecue because you're helping us get rid of the flies away from the food.
It's almost like we made a problem. Like, we kicked him out of our shit and he went to fuck around in their space, like running amok all around.
He's a roach.
I clearly had no idea what the fuck I was doing, first off.
I mean, look at the situation I ended up in. Not the business for me.
You said it.
What I enjoyed in hindsight about Cottontail
was making the videos and, you know, taking the pictures and doing the giveaways, making those little
Who does an exit interview out of a business that's supposed to be so illegal that he had to tell everybody in my live stream about it? Who makes an exit video with your face?
It's insane. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah. All the little marketing shit I used to do, that's what I enjoyed about the business. And now I've kind of found a vessel for doing that in YouTube, and it's working for me. What this is about is just taking the mess that I left behind 3 years ago that I never felt good about then, and I don't feel good about now, and making it right. Because I had to carry this on my shoulders for 3 years, and I want to walk away from the situation with my head held high, knowing that I did the right thing.
Can I play something for you guys? I know we in your video. I got some stuff for you, and this gentleman gave me the permission to put it up. He was like, I don't give a f. He was like, man, I want to see this guy go down. He was like, you know, my platform's not as big. He's like, man, I just appreciate you doing it. Can I go ahead and bring this up to your attention? Well, first of all, let's start here. I'm gonna read it to you because I know you probably can't see it on your end, but this is another one of the random people that hit me up. And, you know, of course, I think you guys will be able to confirm some of this stuff that's in here. So this person says, hey, man, I love what you're doing on Twitter right now. I mean, because I've been letting them have it. He said, I mean, I love what you do in general, but this thorough smoking of What's the Dirt is so cathartic and overdue. He says, I'm a white dude from a small Canadian hick town with zero connection to hip hop culture, aside from what comes through my computer screen. I'm sure you're familiar with the type, LMAO. Matthew's lack of self-awareness, his inability to acknowledge his position as an outsider, and refusal to be respectful of the position he thinks he has is embarrassing. I don't know why he thinks he can speak on who and what he speaks on, especially how he speaks on them. He wants so badly to be that white guy, but he's that white guy, even to other Canadian nobodies like me. As long as you keep doing what you're doing, I'll keep cheering you on from the sidelines. Appreciate your work and insight. Thank you for what you do for integrity and music. What do you have to say about that as I go to this next one?
Oh, well, our community, you know, we weed out bottom feeders and scammers and clout chasers. That's what he was doing. And eventually he did it to himself. But we don't take kindly to that. And that's why he's not allowed here.
It's a different gentleman that hit me with this message. These are actual audio files. And I want to get your feedback. These are really short. One's 2 minutes, the other one's 1 minute, and we're just gonna kind of compare because these are. I want to make sure I don't lose the connection. I don't want him to sit in here and think this is for 1 second about exposing your illegal. It's not nothing about that. This is about exposing your faulty character. That no matter where you go, you're still the same lame.
My bro, hey, how are you doing, man? You're a G, first of all. Thanks for doing this. Yo, listen. The point that you have to drive home the most is that with this guy, counting chickens before they hatch is a big theme with him. So, like, even before he, like, got real YouTube success, I don't know how successful he is in YouTube, but he came back to the community after being, like, run off, right, for being a scammer. He came back and flexed on everyone, saying, like, oh, he's a big YouTube star, this and that, and he's going to pay people back. And he made this grand show of him, like, wanting, like, he's going to pay people back, this and that, without even paying a cent, right? And what happened was, like, I called him out for that. I'm like, bro, who the fuck steals from people, comes back, flexes that they're successful, then flexes that they're going to pay everybody back without even $1 paid? Right? At that point, he didn't pay anything. Like, he just wants that attention. Like, he craves that attention. So I called him out for it. Then he went on a fucking incessant rant. Who the fuck comes back to a victory tour and is like, yeah, I'm famous now and I'm going to pay everybody back. And, like, it's just like, dude, if you're famous now, like, why don't you just go to each person that you owe and say, like, yo, here's 2K, here's 2K, here's 2K. Let's make a monthly payment plan. Like, no, anyways, dude, this guy is fucking off his rocker.
Yeah, this dude is just fucking hated. He's just a real, like, he's just a dirty, yeah, man.
So he told me when he saw this pop up, he said, once again, airing out criminal activity, and then put 3 rat emojis.
No, this individual is pretty relevant in our community.
Yep.
They call out people who do this type of shit. You know, they're respected. So that's pretty much it.
Bro, the fact that you're focusing and like letting people know on a bigger platform, because at the end of the day, like, the most I've ever had was like 3 or 4K followers on Instagram, and it's just a small... Dude, the fact that you're putting this out on YouTube for the world to see, and, like, you know what I'm saying, bro? Good. This guy needs to fucking go down, bro. He's a nightmare, dude. He is the type of person that you keep in the small town. Like, you can't take everybody with you into the real world, bro. This guy's one of them. Unhinged motherfucking loser, bro. Please, whatever you need, bro.
When people who don't know you say whatever you need, you have been a nuisance in your community.
This is also someone that he tried to stomp out at one point and tried to turn the community against, but it was, you know, a futile effort. Like, it didn't work because people, you know, saw who he is at the end of the day. He goes after really anybody that he feels threatened by or feels insecure about in some way. I mean, in a sense, it could almost be taken as a compliment, but it's.
I mean, the way
if you want to be positive about it,
the similarities is insane because even me, like, our community is just so big, and it's like it only gets so big. Even me with my shit, and it was like 14,000 followers and shit, and he said bad things to me and was just like, oh, whatever, and barked at me for like in the first 2 months and stuff. And I'm an OG. And I was just like, huh? And it's just like, it just completely reminds me of how the hell did he talk to the company, man, like that? And then at first, I didn't know who he was, but he sent a message to me at 3 a.m. saying, oh, you're just like this T-Rex that's like moving not good and whatever. And then I'm like, oh, look at this random guy sent me this message. I showed it to my girl, and my girl's like, that's fucking Matthew from his personal page. And I'm like, okay, well, he's writing it at 3:30 in the morning and on a Saturday. Like, why are you worried about me? I don't even know who you are. She had to tell me who he is. And then how are you coming out to somebody like me? Not that I'm, whatever, but it's like, why you just got into that space, the hip hop space, and why are you hitting up somebody like the company, man?
He made a lot of enemies. He was around for about a year or a year and a half or so, I'd say. He made a lot of enemies in that time.
I can tell. Well, some of the nature of the stories, like I said, it was always my responsibility to make sure that those who gave the information, I protected their identity, because everybody is not ready for sometimes the onslaught that the internet can bring. And now he's amplifying it for other people. I could take this. I've been here before. I've seen it. But what he doesn't understand is, like, right now there are so many good people who are trying to make sure that these messages get out there. One of the stories that I heard, and it's up to you whether or not you want to give the details if you have them, but just getting an idea of the human beings behind those that he did this hitting licks on. I was told that one of them was a father of a child that has autism. I'm a father that has a child with autism, and only reason I bring it there is because we're talking about character, but we're also talking about mental health. And one thing that I hear him say all the time when the things get too hot, he has the same excuse that you guys told me verbatim. Oh, my girl told me I shouldn't have did that. Oh, I'm just having one of those moments. And I'm not trying to be insensitive and say maybe he does have something going on. I think he does. But there are times where folks can weaponize those things and try to like skate accountability. But what's done is done. Do you guys know anything about that first story that I told you about, or do you want to expand upon that last point that I made?
Yeah, 100%. So one of the dudes that he actually is one of the people that got hit one of the hardest was actually a guy that has a child with autism. So he was like really trying to get his money back, and he's like, look, I have a hard life myself, and I'm a grower, and I'm trying to do this, that, and I got bailed, and I got somebody to take care of with special needs. And that is a fact. He took money, and I was in the upwards. I was one of the 17K ones. The biggest one was that guy.
If you watch the video, the Hitting Licks 2, that's where also he is saying he's going to pay back every cent. And I think I don't know if we've played that one, but that's who he's referring to too.
So when he said he was hitting licks and this and that, he was talking about that man. Yeah. That man with the kid that has
So it's very weird that you would joke or try to act like you're hard about that.
You want a man with a kid that has special needs that you convinced to front you because you're going to get him his money. In 2 weeks, he'll be paid. And then you take that away from him. He's already had it rough enough. That is some wild shit.
The common theme that I see with him is that he's willing to take the whole ship down if he has to go down. And it's a mentality that is not very foreign to some of the vultures that live in this particular community that we're in hip hop media. It's not foreign. Like, there are people who, have literally said, one of the people he looks up to, when DJ Academic said, if I go down, everybody goes down. And it seems like they're a match made in heaven, because this is what he was doing with these individuals that had trust within him. This was the other one that had the hitting licks. What is the context of this right here?
That's who vouched for him for his business, and he also screwed over. Not only did he screw over the farmer, but he also screwed over this person.
Cottontail Exotics, the one with the trashy trashy girlfriend. This is his words, he used to lure growers into giving them packs and consignment. You confirm that. He ripped off a grower I know for $17,500 and even have the video on Signal to prove it. LOL, this scumbag ripped off multiple other growers. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is the biggest bag of trash in cannabis. Good old Matt. Do more nose beers, you clown. What is a nose beer?
You tell what that is. This is a Canadian term, I guess.
What is it? Which one?
Do more nose beers, you clown.
Oh, nose beers. He's everybody knows he's a fucking cokehead.
Cotton rails. Allegedly.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
This is Cottontail in 2022 telling the grower with a terminally ill kid he would never run off on his money. Ha ha ha. I mean, how dumb are you to show your face again? You're bad at this. You are bad at that, man. You're bad at this too. You ripped off a grower $17,500 and you legit scammed so many others. Good old Matty Nose Beers.
So that's what I was saying. The guy that he took from the terminally ill child he vouched for him, and this dude's an OG. So it was just it's just a nightmare, you know. Like, he's as bad as it gets, you know. And people already around here already know that he likes his white girl, like, you know what I mean? He likes his powder hard. And why he said, like, his trashy girlfriend, like I said before, yeah, because you in a bed in a bikini taking pictures of bud flower on your fucking ass and sending it to growers so they can post on their page. Cool, bro.
So you're allegedly just pimping your girl's image out there. And I'm pretty sure if you ever asked him about that, he would say, well, don't you guys do that in hip hop? So that,
you know, buddy, at the end of the day, is you'll get back every dime you ever put into me, basically, right? You know what I mean? Would never spook off or run off. I've heard tales of people doing that. Not my style. Wasn't raised that way. You never had to worry about anything like that, or me breaking communication. I'll always maintain the dialogue with you guys and be honest with you, right? So, just wanted to say that and thank you. Like, this whole cuffing thing definitely keeps me up at night. I think I'm getting more gray hairs than I should be at my age, but
ain't nothing funny. If you owe me $17,500, you better stop that damn chuckling.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
This is not a game. This, especially when you're talking about human beings. Let's just, on a human being level, forget the industry, a human being level. I put that kind of trust in you, that kind of investment in you. I must have seen something that assured me you were going to be good for it. You don't do it. You assure me you're going to be good for it. And then I got to go watch you popping shit somewhere else as you possibly, allegedly run a similar scam there. Like that, I imagine there's got to be a lot of folks who can't say anything because of whatever the case may be. But they got to sit up here and watch him. Like, why in the fuck would you want to go viral with this kind of shit on you?
It's crazy. It really is. I don't understand it.
We're trying to figure it out.
It's part of his narcissism. It's all what it is. His attention, that he loves anything, bro.
One thing I wanted to bring up too is that I don't know if can be brought into the conversation, but when a lot of the community's been paying attention to him because of the YouTube now and his videos with the rap beef. A lot of people were like, hey, he's getting donations from people because I guess one video, he couldn't make money from. I'm not sure the specifics, but he was asking for donations. And a lot of people were like, well, did any of those donations go to any of the growers that he owes? I mean, I get it. You probably have bills and other things, you know, but it was brought to other people's attention that he went on a vacation to Jamaica.
Bro, a week later.
So I'm not sure, you know, I think he even posted it on his Instagram page. On What's the Dirt.
He took donations and then a week later from the video ends up for 2 weeks in Jamaica with the money that they gave him because he's like, I need to pay my bills and this and that because they did this whole weird YouTube thing and he bounced out to a vacation.
I mean, can we prove that? It's just weird that, you know, Did you pay any of the people that you owe? You know?
Well, how about this? You don't deserve a vacation until this debt is paid in its entirety. He talks about in that other video, I wasn't raised like that. I wasn't raised like that. Well, I was raised, and I'm able to say I was not raised like that. Here's the thing about it. Just as a man with integrity, I would feel guilty if I knew I owed somebody. I don't owe people money. Like, right? I feel it so bad in my bones. Even if I owe you $20, I feel bad going and go get a Snicker bar and I haven't paid you your 20 back. I know that's not the full 20, but it's the principle of it. It's like, damn, what kind of a man am I that I don't pay back my debts and I think that I'm entitled to splurge? And no, you don't deserve it. You've done work that means that you don't have the right to do vacation until you work your ass. I would say if you got to the 50% mark and you got a bunch of different deals with people, look, I'm gonna tap in with these folks and say, would you mind if I took a vacation because I've been working my ass off? I'm gonna pay it back. I need this for my mental, my space. I feel like some people will be like, no, get your ass back to work. And some people will be like, go do what you gotta do. Just make sure you get back to it. To do this, to me, it's just like teetering between arrogance and it's teetering between what seems to be a bit of fear, but it's like a fear that, well, nothing's happened yet. And I went viral. So actually, maybe my virality is my protection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our community's been watching him. And we just figured, hey, let him do what he does, which is bury himself, like he always does, with his own shovel. It's fitting his name is What's the Dirt.
Talk about it. No, wait. Expand upon that. When you saw that was his name, did that add anything to the fire? Did that add any fuel that he literally goes by the phrase, what's the dirt?
It's crazy.
I mean, I think it speaks for itself, right?
I mean, like the video could just easily be like, what's the dirt on what's the dirt? I mean, this is like insane. You know, like the dude is out of his fucking mind. And to even take people's money and then go on vacation and be so blatant about the way that you stole. Don't get me wrong, this happens. Like we're in the mail, we work in the mail, like sending things out, this and that. I've lost 15, I lost 12, I lost 10, but I make 600 at the end of the year. That's cool, it's a loss. But with him is that he posted his face. He's out there, he's this. We don't know who these people are. We just trust them, they're on pages, whatever, cool. I made a bad judgment. But this guy's out here posting his face, saying, oh, I'm sorry, oh, this, that. It's like, I've never experienced this. I've never seen it. I don't know if it goes to his ego or his narcissism, him like being in the delusional world where he can just get away with whatever he fucking wants, but it's like that.
Well, I have to say how much I appreciate you guys for, sticking your neck out there to even share some of these things, because, it's part of the reason why I wanted this to be anonymous, because like I said, the people he's aligning himself with are the equivalent of extremists in our space, right? They just happen to have a favorite rapper and they're very much extremists. They do some really vile things online, because of your disagreement with their stance. So he aligned himself with some of the most vile people that I could even think of. And now here we are, and we're finding out why. I mean, it's birds of a feather flock together. As we start to get here towards, I guess, the end, because I think all of this already is just, it's damning. It's damning in terms of reputation. It's damning in terms of character. And if this don't get your dumb ass to get them AdSense checks, to start up a Patreon, you should have some kind of a plan. And the only reason I'm involving myself in this conversation is because you involved me. You involved me. You came in a live stream talking crazy to me. You didn't have to do that. And now you got folks that's like, wait a minute. Before you start talking too big with them big britches on, you got a trail of disgusting work. You got a trail of skeletons. You know
what? I gotta say this real quick, because I don't want it to even be projected that he thought that he could just take from farmers, that they're just going to grow again and make their money back. There's a whole lineup. If you go on Reddit, on the mom sites, or before that, people were like, hey, you know what happened to Conto? Because I ordered this zip for $240 3 weeks ago. I ordered this 3 weeks ago. It wasn't to just farmers and people that he thought might make their money back. He did this to everybody and people that just wanted a little flour to enjoy themselves on the weekend from their stressful days. $200 here, $30 there, $100 here from a lot of them. He crashed that website until they all bought everything out from that site and didn't pay any of them. So it went from poor, from that one guy that's working his 9 to 5 at fucking McDonald's, and he comes home, he wants to smoke that 3-5 that he just ordered from that site, from that grower that he wants, to the bigger boys. You know what I'm saying? So there was no judgment on who's going to get taken, and that also speaks for itself right there.
I don't know how he's going to take it or what, not that it matters, but if I feel like I hope he would reflect on the situation and the many situations that continue to happen, a repeat pattern of situations. And instead of like pointing at everybody else, maybe it's time to look in the mirror and figure out why it happens everywhere you go. And maybe other people aren't always the assholes. You know, maybe sometimes it's yourself.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
So that message was for him. What message would you have for somebody who maybe they stumbled across this video and they've been watching his videos and they really feel like he has a voice of authority? They look at him as a trusty, a source of information. What would you tell that person if they, let's say they found you at a mall or whatever, you met this stranger and they're like, have you ever heard of this guy? What conversation would you have with them about maybe moving with caution as they consume this content, or even at all? What would you say to that person?
I mean, at the end of the day, people are going to believe what they want to believe. And if you think that he's a good person or that you like his content, that's fine, like his content, but understand that the person behind the content isn't necessarily the content. You might enjoy the content to consume it, but he's done things that other people don't necessarily agree with, and they're not things that I would, look up to as a person.
This man stole from people, hardworking people, stole from people that have problems in their life and have children with autism and different situations of that, and even the average person. Yeah, even if you want to like him or you want to be like, I don't know if I like this video, remember, this guy will take money from your grandmother. So, like, is this who you want to support? Is this who you want to really side with? Exactly. Or do you want to at least have some type of background where you know that where you're getting your information or your videos or lives is going to a decent human, somebody with a family, somebody that's likable, somebody that is a family man, or even somebody that's just sitting in their basement doing nothing, that never stole from somebody. This guy is
also,
the worst
not
type
only
of
that,
human.
he also somebody who, questions themselves. Did I make a mistake? Have I done wrong here? Those are things that are important,
Could you share a perspective that maybe one of these families or these farmers, could you share a perspective that maybe he has not considered about how these situations can affect these human beings?
I mean, in some of the videos, he himself even admits how it's not who he is and this and that.
The thing is that there's this misconception that, yes, we do well, we make a lot of money, this, that, this. But we're not all like that, and it's not always like that, and the market fluctuates. This guy was stealing from people, or even sometimes people like me and other people, that it takes 2 to 3 months to finish our crop. And at the end of that, we're sometimes on our last dollar. And when we move that and we get money from that, it's to pay up our electric bills, our mortgages on cars, diapers, food for our family. This is our living. This is not, we don't do this so we can just go have fun and spend $300 on a bottle of liquor at a club or some stupidity or whatever, movies or whatever gets put on, and we're driving Mercedes. No, most of the farmers that I know drive their F-150s, they go to the farm, they work their ass off, and we have bills and we pay bills like everybody else. We don't make a killing. We're blue collar people, and there's no right to ever steal from that, or even the average man, never mind farmers. But we do this, and it's really a hard job.
Respect to what you guys do. I appreciate your transparency. I appreciate you carving out the time, because one of the reasons why we couldn't do it a little earlier, because you were actually working. So y'all stay working.
Look, man, I've been hearing about this, like this narrative that they're trying to paint about me, that I don't respect women, and like, cancel them, get them out of here. Like, there's an important distinction that needs to be made here, and that is that there's a huge difference in respecting a woman and respecting a bitch. Like, they're two different things. Like, if you act like a bitch, you're gonna get treated like a bitch. It is what it is. It's not complicated. That's why I would never apologize. If the shoe fits, wear it.
Well, he's living up to the dirty name. He's living up to that dirt. There you go. Yes. What's the dirt? I'm sure that you're watching this. I'm sure maybe even your lawyer's watching this. Let me just say this. You had an opportunity to mind your business. You had an opportunity to not come mess with me. You had an opportunity to just go about your business. We haven't talked since the apology. I left it alone. I had one line where I did mention, I said, go playing with that dirt in the culture, you'll get deleted. It was a rap line. If you felt like you needed some get back to that. The problem was when you mentioned my family's name, because it started to agitate families that you allegedly took advantage of. What you had here coming today has been years and years in the making, years before you even knew who I was. I am just a vehicle, sir. So as you start to think about all the ways, the vindictive ways you can get back at me, the ways that you can try to find some dirt on me, I hope you're okay with finding ticket violations and unpaid cable bills from Spectrum, because I'm a square. Unlike you, I'm not trying to make the rest of the world believe that I'm some kind of gangster who hit a lick. That's not what I'm doing. No. I'm just a man. I'm just me. I'm just me, and I take care of mine. But the fact that you tried to soft dox, the facts that you tried to bring my family's name up into it, my adoptive family's name into it, when they have nothing to do with this, shows me the character that you had. Then I had these amazing individuals come here and double down on the information. I'm telling you right now, sir, rethink your strategy if you think the best next move is to amplify anything going on here. Because the thing about it is, these are only two individuals that I've heard from, and they're not done. They have more information than I had time to give today. And I thought it would be smart to hold off just in case you did the what's the dirt thing. Excuse me, the Matthew thing. I'm warning you. Leave good people alone. Pay your debt. What's the debt? Pay your debt. What's the debt? Stop concerning yourself with these frivolous beefs. Like, this is not even a beef. You're not equally yoked. You should have just minded your business. You have other business to tend to. What's the debt? So now moving forward, I hope you understand. This is only a fraction. That Google Drive, my God, is filled with so many things. If given other context and other voices, boy, oh boy, it could get really tricky out here no matter what you choose to do. I have spared you once again. Any final words that you have for what's the debt?
Yeah, we got one thing. We hunting wabbits. That's what we're doing out here in this community. So
I gotta say one more thing. Pay the debts to the farmers, to my people, my peers, the guys that work hard. This is not an easy job. We have to stay in the darkness. We have to avoid so many things in our life. We have to work our ass off to do what we do and make the money that we do, and even the little bit of money while we run these farms and give people what they want. Pay your debts and make it okay. And that's what it is. Stand on your word, my boy.
Round of applause for both of y'all. You know, I am a God-fearing man, and I believe everybody crosses paths for a reason. And seeing the amount of exhaling that I see in my DM, even hearing your voice is like, we finally didn't amplify this motherfucker for what he really is. That brings something to me, because I know that in order for me to be the person that people see in me in terms of being a nice guy and all these things, I don't think you could be a nice guy unless you have at some point access the monster inside of you, unless you've accessed that other part of you that reminds you that you're a whole human being.
100%.
Right? So I salute you. I wish y'all the best in everything that you do. And let's stay in touch in case people start to glitch out, all right?
Let's go.
Enjoy your evening.
You too. Thank you.
You are a true con man, as we can see, because you scammed a bunch of people in the cannabis business. And now you were kicked out, and now you're on this side doing the same scammy bullshit, but just in a different way. You are legit. What's his name? Legit a narcissist. That's how I feel like. He's a narcissist. But Drake also has that same energy. He thinks, and he adopted the worst of the worst aspect of what he thinks a black man in America is. A degenerate who pushes mob ties, toting guns, and throwing up sets. When he grew up in a house full of Jewish white women in a suburban part of Canada. Like, they are one and the same. They are one and the same. So it makes sense why you would decide to align yourself with that side. Like, remember when Drake said black people can relate to him because he saw his daddy being arrested at the border? And then you just told Curtis King, oh, I hit a lick. Don't y'all do that in the West Coast? What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, it has to be something in that Canadian water. And it's racism. It's stupidity. It's ignorance. It's mayonnaise. Like, I don't get it. I honestly don't get why anyone pays this loser attention anymore.
DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Don't be greedy. Peace.